You won't know this because I haven't mentioned this on the channel at all yet, I don't think, but I really despise mobile phones. I'm very anti-phone. I hate them. I really do. I just feel it's completely changed the way people behave. It's zombified society. And to be politically incorrect, it's kind of retarded society in a way. People walk around now looking at their phones. Look at my phone. Look at my phone. I can't stand it when people are walking down the street looking at their phone. Some people actually walk down the street watching a movie on their phone as they're walking, not even looking what's in front of them. In fact, if I see somebody heading in my direction, walking directly at me, they're like 30 feet away and I can tell that they're going to walk into me if they don't look up. I will stop and I will see if they walk into me. There is no excuse to be looking at your phone as you're walking along the pavement or the sidewalk. The only legitimate reason you can have for looking at your phone when you're doing that is if you have a map on the phone and you're trying to figure out where to go. Other than that, unless you're taking a picture of something or filming something, there's no reason to be looking at your phone as you're walking along the street. I see friends sitting around a table, all just looking at their phones. No one talking to anyone else. What was the point of this social gathering if they're not even going to communicate with each other? Another pet hate of mine is when people put their phones next to their plates during some kind of a meal. If people are sitting around having dinner and they've all got their phone next to their plate, that really irritates me. Unless you're expecting an emergency call in the next few minutes, put it away, put it in your bag. You don't need it next to your plate. The only reason it's there is so you can have an excuse to check it every so often. And you don't need to do that. You're with people, speak with them. That is why this decision taken by the headmaster of a Catholic school has caused me to be overjoyed. I'm so happy that this headmaster has done this. He's decided to, well, first of all, phones were already banned at this school, but he's decided to take very strict measures for anyone who breaks the rule and brings their phone into school. So before, the policy at this school in Texas was that if you brought your phone in and you were found to have your phone on you, the phone would be taken away from you, confiscated, and then it would be given back to one of your parents, but not before it was explained to that parent why they should not be giving their child their phone at school. Whether it's the child's phone, whether it's their own phone, they should not be giving that pupil a phone to take to school. But apparently this wasn't working. Despite that being the rule, students were found to still have their phones on them. And so now the measure is that if you have your phone on you, it will be confiscated and it will be destroyed, literally. And you'll be suspended. And if you should then get hold of another phone and bring it in, you'll be expelled. Pretty strict measures, but I like it. Here is a little bit from an article about this in the Catholic News Agency. And they actually quote part of a 4-page letter that the headmaster wrote to parents explaining this policy. Smartphones are causing significant unimagined damage to the students who have them, Herbert wrote in his letter to parents, as well as to the sons, because it's a boys-only school, of those parents who have chosen not to give phones to their sons. Because they're obviously going to be seeing other people, friends, using their phones, and they're going to want a phone. He also did an interview with CNA, so this next quote is from that. The damage these phones have caused to our children, he told CNA in the interview, it literally has never been imagined. It's not just pornography, Herbert continued. YouTube actors and other characters just trying to get clicks perform the most shameless actions on video. They just have zero respect for the dignity of their bodies and for life. Zero. And these boys want to emulate these people. Yeah, because they see that they're popular and they want that popularity. They're also making money off YouTube with these clicks they're getting. So they're thinking, great, this is an easy way to make money and get popular. Now, it should be pointed out that, strictly speaking, this school isn't a Catholic school. It isn't under the umbrella of Catholic schools, if you like. It does say on their website, Western Academy, the name of the school, is not a Catholic school and is not under the supervision of the Archdiocesan Catholic Schools Office of Galveston, Houston. It has been accredited by a private independent schools association, Advanced Accreditation Commission, and is independently funded. However, it does also say on the website that Opus Dei, a personal prelate of the Catholic Church founded by Saint Jose Maria Escriva, provides a chaplain who in turn administers the sacraments on a daily basis and oversees the religious education program. We are very grateful for the permission granted by Cardinal Dinardo to offer religious education to our Catholic students, to offer daily mass and confession, and to be able to have the Blessed Sacrament with us throughout the week. He goes on to say, we are deeply aware of and in debt to the great traditions and benefits of Catholic education. We are a school started, owned and operated by laymen. The appointed chaplain and lay educators feel the responsibility of living and reflecting a Catholic spirit throughout our school. Professional laymen are responsible for the education and administration of the school, and the chaplain is particularly responsible for the religious education program. It also later talks about its chapel that they have, where the Blessed Sacrament is present in the tabernacle there. It says students should act with reverence in the chapel and should avoid distracting behavior in the areas outside the chapel when in use. It also says mass is celebrated there, that students and parents, as well as the faculty, are welcome to attend, etc. So while officially it doesn't come under the Catholic school umbrella because they're basically a private school, so you have to pay to go there, they are a Catholic school, let's face it. And further evidence that this is a Catholic school and that their headmaster is a Catholic is that he went onto a Catholic podcast to actually explain this policy that he was introducing. He was speaking to somebody named Dr. Johan de Souza, who's a clinical psychologist, but this podcast of his is a Catholic podcast. And on it, Headmaster Jason Hebert is asked how exactly he's going to destroy these phones, because it's a very strong word, isn't it, to say you're going to destroy people's phones if they bring them in. How exactly he's going to do that. And so on here, he explains how he's actually going to do that.
How are you going to destroy it?
I bought one of those metal scrap grinders, a little mini one, that's with a crank. And so, I like one of my guilty pleasures. Every now and then I like watching the videos where the teeth come and they grind up the metal. I just awed by the power of those things.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I just bought a little mini one.
Is any idea of like the child being witness to it or having to press the button himself as a catharsis moment?
It would be turn the crank.
Turn the crank. Okay.
Yeah, to watch each centimeter disappear with every turn. Yeah. So I mean, but we thought about it. I think we'll figure it out as we go. I just know this: it's not surviving the incident.
What a wonderful idea! And here's the other thing: parents did not complain about this. When he let them know what was going to be happening, what the punishment was for their children bringing in a phone, apparently no parent came to him and said, well, this is unreasonable. Because you are basically telling parents that if your son brings in an item of property that is prohibited, you're going to destroy his property. Literally, grind the metal to pieces. And no parent had an issue with this. So that also speaks well of the parents. Of course, one wonders why so many of them permitted their kids to bring phones in before. Unless, of course, their kids were doing it without them realizing. I've got to say, this school is in Texas. It just reaffirms my love for people from Texas. I love Texas. I love people from the South in the USA. They're very patriotic. They're Christians. I really love you folks. I think you're really great Americans. I know the liberal elites hate you. I know they try to put you down. They try to make out that you're stupid, that you're backward. Basically because you're good patriotic Christians. That's why they hate you. And I love you for it. You're wonderful human beings. And this headmaster at this school is just re-emphasizing why people in the South are just good people. Obviously not perfect. We're sinners as human beings, but really decent human beings. And what a great policy this is. We have a program, or we had, I don't know if it still airs, in the UK called Room 101, where people would go on and try to banish things into Room 101. If I was on that program, I would banish phones. Because when phones first came out, they were literally just used for calling people. That's all you could do. So people wouldn't be looking at their phones during the day because there wasn't anything to look at. They would just make the calls they need to make, carry their phone on them in case somebody tries to contact them or in case they need to contact someone, and that was it. Then text messages were introduced, but even then, you had to pay for text messages at the beginning, so you were careful as to how many you'd send out, and you also tried to limit the amount of characters you used because you knew that if you go over the limit, it goes into your second text message, your third text message, and that costs more money. So even then, people wouldn't just be texting constantly because they knew that that would cost them more money. It's like with photography, it's the same thing, right? Now people take photo after photo, selfie after selfie. They waste so many pictures on stupid things. Before, you had to actually have a roll of film that gave you like 36 pictures. You didn't want to waste them on stupid things, so you were very careful about the things you took pictures of because you had to pay for the roll of film. You then had to pay to get it developed. Similar with phones. Now, it's not just for calling, it's not just for texting, but you can do so many things on there that people just watch movies on there, listen to music, look at the internet, etc., etc. Phones, to me, have shown that we are not ready for phones. We shouldn't have been given phones. And I feel like if people don't know how to use these things in moderation, they shouldn't have them in the first place. Let me know what you think about this, folks. What do you think about this school's new policy on destroying phones? I personally love it, as I said. Do leave your comments below, and thank you very much for watching the video. Have yourselves a blessed day.